What's up, everybody? My name is Indy, and that gentleman right next to me, that's Mr. Jay Powell from Powell Group Consulting, and welcome to Indie Game Business, and I hope you're having a great Friday. Today, we have Lou Adducci, and we're talking about Extra Life. We have an Extra Life page, too, so...
Yeah, I'm still setting that up. Hold on a second.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Welcome, Lou. Thanks for coming on and joining us.
Yeah, it's my absolute pleasure. I'm glad to be here. Thanks, guys.
Oh, you have one of those round green screens that just attach to your chair, huh? Weber round.
I do.
Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I've seen them forever. The people walking around the conventions with them around, like wearing them, and I was like, that is really cool. But it doesn't matter which video conference I'm in, my camera always just screws it up. So you still see part of my living room.
Yeah, but it still looks cool.
It's
cool. I probably would not have even noticed had Indy not said something.
Because when he turns, you can see it move a little bit.
Yeah, you see my fan cooling off the room here.
That's cool.
Awesome. So, bear with us, folks. Indy and I are getting back in the realm of doing one show per week versus 30 in 3 days. So there's that. So, I mean, before we get too far in with Lou, I do want to say thank you to not only Indy and my team here and the folks from Meet to Match, but to all the folks who did hang out with us last week and take part and participate in all of those chats and all of those streams. And if you're watching right now or listening, because Indy's got the podcasts are going to be slowly rolling out, but all of last week's episodes are available on our YouTube page and our Facebook page, and at least Twitch for a little while too. But you didn't lose anything. You can go back and watch it. And it was really cool, and it was really exhausting, and it was really fun. So yeah, thank you. All right, Lou, you Extra Life. So this is a group that I've wanted to have on the show for a long time because I love what you all do. But before we get too far into them, tell us about you. How did you get into the game industry side of this, and walk us through your career up until now?
Oh, sure. It's totally exciting. You guys are going to be amazed at this journey. Really, I was excited to get into games writing, like so many people. Like I wanted to write for. I wanted to review games. I wanted to write about the industry. I wanted to be really involved. And so I wrote a crap ton of articles for a bunch of blogs and websites that probably don't even exist anymore. But that's where I started to meet a lot of people and make contacts and to kind of begin to see my path. And around that time, my son was just born, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could leverage my hobby and do some good to kind of be a good example for my kid? Like, how about, honestly, like I created, I created a whole social branding like we all do. I called myself, why don't we be heroes by clicking? So I said, I'm going to be hero by clicking. And I wrote a blog. Of course, no one read the blog. No one cared. But before I got too disheartened, I came across an ad for this thing called Extra Life. And I was like, oh, so I could do good for local children's hospitals by playing games. It was exactly what I wanted to do. So I still kept up like writing for game industry stuff, and but really got involved with my local hospital and the Extra Life community through Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And that's really, that path set me directly to be where I am now as director of community experience for this program and for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. But it was years of writing, going to conventions, meeting people. But it all paid off in the end, because now everybody wants to help sick kids. I mean, I would hope that everybody wants to help sick kids.
You would think that's a pretty easy one to get your head around.
It's an easy win, and to pair it with something like playing games and telling people and live streaming or having in-person events, just is easy. Like we're already doing all this stuff most of the time, so it's just that's where I am. That's really it was a direct path. I was really mindful. As soon as I found out about Extra Life, I was like, I gotta do something with him, and here we are.
So tell us a little, for those of you who don't know what Extra Life is, it is a part of Children's Miracle Network, which I've always been familiar with because when I was in college, I worked at Walmart, and Walmart is all about Children's Miracle Network, or at least they used to be. I don't know. Are they still big?
Yeah, no, they still are. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us, give us the rundown. What is Extra Life? What do you do? All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, you bet. So Extra Life is a fundraising program for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Like you said, we're the balloon, right? Like, at Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, Dairy Queen, Ace Hardware, Love's. Like, we're all over the nation in the North and in Canada, and we're the roundup, or we do, donate $1 and put your name on the balloon and stick it on the wall. That's what we're known for. You can kind of see it in my green screen. So that classic icon, been around for almost 40 years. But about 12 years ago, the founder of the Extra Life program came up with this idea that gamers want to give back. Like, we're a passionate community, and we want a way to make impact on our local communities. So came up with this idea of Extra Life in honor of his friend Victoria Enman, who we lost to leukemia, and her life inspired him to grow this fundraising program, and we call it a peer-to-peer fundraising program. If you think about it like a walkathon or a runathon where you get sponsored per mile, same idea, except we don't run, we play games instead. And so that's
such a big fan. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Usually, most gamers are like, well, "Wait, what do you mean run-a-thon?" You're like, "No, don't run, play games." Like, "Oh, well, that makes sense." Yeah, here we are, and yeah, people set up their pages like you would. You make those asks for donations. You gather friends to play games together, and you have a good time. But they benefit local children's hospitals, and there's 170 children's hospitals that are part of the Children's Miracle Network across North America. And that's inclusive of our friends in Canada, and of course we have an awesome hospital all the way down in Puerto Rico too. So it's you can make impact on local families and in their communities just by joining this program, by asking friends and family to chip in a little bit of money to support the cause, and all the money that you raise through Extra Life goes right back to that local children's hospital. So, and they use it for the area of greatest need. So, is that my dog or your dog?
No, that's mine. the vicious and highly threatening UPS truck just drove by.
Of course, no, it's so intimidating. But yeah, like, all the money stays local, and that's one of the amazing things that we get to share, is that you make tremendous impact on that local hospital, sick and injured kids that enter hospital. It's 62 kiddos per minute enter one of our hospitals across the nation, and that number really adds up. Like, your mind kind of gets blown. And the funds that you raised could go from anywhere from helping those families financially, pay for their care. It can pay for new equipment in the hospital, a heart monitor for an infant, for a NICU unit, for a premature born kiddo, training, a new hospital wing, mental health, broken arm, rash. I mean, you name it, that's where the money goes. It really does a tremendous impact for local communities.
So it's always been one of those things that's near and dear to my heart. Before we had kids, we have worked with Extra Life, on a personal level, and then as well with Child's Play coming from the Penny Arcade folks. And it was just one of those things that it was like, okay, look, there's no reason we shouldn't be doing this. It's like you said, it's like, we're going to play games and raise money for kids. How big of a hurdle is that to get over? all of that changed when I had a son, and he wasn't even one, and he developed what's called staph scalded skin syndrome, and it's basically a staph infection in your skin, and he looked like you had taken and just dropped him in a thing of boiling water. His skin was falling off, and it was horrible. It gets you extra hard when your baby's crying and you can't really wipe its tears because the skin comes off. We ended up going to UNC Children's Hospital, which was the local one. We're raising money for Duke Children's Hospital because they're in your network, and we've been there too, and they are excellent people. But we ended up at Chapel Hill for Easter. So my son's very first Easter was spent in the children's ward, and it didn't really hit me until I had gone down to get coffee one morning, and as I'm walking back there, because you're on your own floor with the children's hospital, and there was a room with video games in it and a lot of other stuff, and I was like, oh my God, my wife and I both have been donating to this for years, and now we're on the flip side of it. And it was just one of those things that I think, we look at all the charity, the stuff's out there, why wouldn't you help kids have a better experience when they're in one of these? And the thing is, it's not just the kids. It's everybody, it's the parents who are in there and they're stressed out. It's the siblings of the kid who's sick. That's what our nurse got on to us the most about, was that, my wife and I needed to take a little break every now and then and get out. And so it really is. It's just a awesome thing. And I can't emphasize enough how much it means to a whole lot of people. And so we are starting up we've got an Extra Life team for this year's 2020 thing. And so if you go to extralife.org/team/IndieGameBusiness, that's where we are. So join up, donate, and we will be doing a live something on November 7th, which is also in the middle of Indie's the 12 Days of Indie. So 1st of November, we're going to be like crazy helping get kids stuff for the end of the year.
That's amazing.
There's obviously there's a thing for this is beneficial to kids, but this is a good opportunity for indie devs to get their stuff out there as well. So talk a little bit about how, what Extra Life does on their end, to help, the teams and to promote it, and, the benefits that go along there from the game developer side.
Right. So I think that we always talk about Extra Life's, like, our secret power is our community. And we've been doing this for a long time. So we have a community that loves and trusts us, and they're also passionate about what they do, and they're also passionate about games. So whenever a new group comes into the fold and they're doing something amazing and interesting, and they happen to be a game developer, they have an automatic platform of people who want to leverage gaming to raise funds for the local children's hospitals, which ultimately brings what developers are doing to a greater audience. Now, we might have like a lot of like micro content creators with smaller audiences, but it runs the gamut. And connecting what you're doing to a cause, it's only beneficial to your endeavor and to your product. Now, when we also have a community that loves to share, like our community shares like 3 to 5 times more than other personas within their demographic. So typically, if you're a developer and you're doing something for Extra Life, our Extra Lifers are going to support that. They're going to echo the work that you're doing. And then if it's something that you think that it's even interesting enough and you want to partner even deeper with the organization, that's something that's also a possibility. We're always looking for community partners who want to get serious about using their voice to share their product or their game. And then we also want to support the work that they're doing, because we know you have to also, you have to be compensated for the work that you do. So we want to make sure that those relationships are sustainable. But yeah, there's lots of different entry points into getting involved. Really, the first and most easy way to get involved is to sign up and just tell people about it. And then that in and of itself will elevate what you're doing, because our community is listening, and they're watching for people to do amazing things, and they'll come to you if you're doing cool stuff with Extra Life in your game.
So if developers, I mean, obviously they can play their own game. That's a no-brainer. If they want to make their game available to other streamers to play during, the marathons and the drives, is there a way to do that?
Well, I mean, I think that probably first step, if they go to extra-life.org/partners, and then we could put an inquiry there to see if there's something that we can help with. That's always a matter of scope with that, right? It's like we want to make sure that the effort is worth it for all folks involved. But other than that, we have a really active community. So if they have a means to distribute their game, our Discord is crazy active, and there's going to be people who want to, who want to get involved. We also have people at the local level. Like, we have 170 hospitals, and at each one of those hospitals, we have somebody who manages the Extra Life program. So another layer of that is saying, well, what impact can we have? Can we connect with those local hospitals, and they distribute and help spread the word about what's going on with Extra Life on a local level, is also entirely possible. So for that, just reaching out to our team and saying we want to be connected to our local hospitals, and we can kind of begin to really manage those relationships at a more intimate level with local folks in your area who really want to make an impact and change.
So what's the difference? I mean, that was one of the questions I actually had for you before we went started, and I was setting mine up. What's the difference between the community level and the partner level? And are there special requirements that the partners need to have, or obligations? Where's the difference falling?
Yeah. So that's a good question. It's a question that we get a lot. It's like, what's a community partner versus just a team or just being involved in the community? A community partner would be somebody that, as an organization, that we sit down and we review. We review like an RFP, and we look at establishing like an actual partnership with expectations. And that can vary just depending on. Oh, there's my kid. Of course. There you go. The big privacy screener. It doesn't mean anything.
It does. Mine does it too. It doesn't work when they walk between you and the privacy and the green screen. Yeah, that's.
The big thing blocking the view doesn't mean anything. It's like, hey, Dad, what's going on? Oh, just working, son. That's all. No, but that's so the partnership would be something where it's a very concerted effort, and it'd be an actual legal agreement for us to work together. But if there is an opportunity to do that, then we should do that. We shouldn't say hi to all the viewers.
Wait, is this live?
Yeah, it's live. Yeah.
Finally, this is the closest I'll get to YouTube.
All right, it's the closest you'll get to YouTube live. Okay. Oh, he's got to sharpen pencils.
It's all good. Everybody's homeschooling now. It's the new craze. I have no idea.
That's the closest I'll get to going on YouTube.
No.
Remember?
It's not the closest you're going to get. You're actually on YouTube right now.
You're actually on YouTube right now. You say hi. Say hi to all of our fans. All right, buddy. Get back.
We get community involved, literally at the stream level here. So,
right. No, and so, but that's, I mean, that goes back to like why you have that connection, and it's like 1 in 10 kiddos are going to end up in one of our hospitals, and like I'm in Colorado, and so we've been to Children's Hospital Colorado on multiple occasions, and to know that I walk through, their campuses and saying like I've had an impact on my fundraising on how we affect a community, and like with any sort, I think about successful indie game devs that I've seen make an impact, not just with their game, but also through charitable causes. It should be a part of your community planning, whether and the cause can resonate with you, and it should also resonate with your community, of course. Like I'm going to be passionate about children's hospitals because it's what I do, but there's a multitude of causes that you can connect with, and I encourage devs, indie devs and community members to also encourage those indie devs to get involved with those, because it creates a significant impact and level of engagement that is just tough to beat, because it makes the work and the fun meaningful at the end of the day.
It is one of those things. I mean, one of the biggest challenges we all know out there on the developer publisher side is getting noticed and discoverability. And so even if you're, helping out, it doesn't have to be on, the November Extra Life Day. It can be any day. I mean, there's a tag in Twitch right here for Extra Life, and so we're always looking at ways that indie teams can build their community, can get the word out about what they're doing, and doing something like this from wherever you are in the world. It's a fantastic way to, like you said, your partner, not necessarily on the partner level, like that's a whole different ballgame, but, to have that association is something that's going to help you. You can get involved with the Discord. As an indie team, anything you can do like this is going to help you in the end. And this is just another one of these things. So just a question then, is it just US-based hospitals, or are there other hospitals around the world?
So our hospitals currently reside in the US and Canada. So we have about a dozen hospitals across Canada that benefit from the network. And really we used to operate in the UK, but it became, it's tax laws and in the UK became tricky. So we're always looking to expand. It's just the feasibility and we're still a nonprofit organization. We want to do as much good, but surprisingly, we have over 100 countries support Extra Life in one way or the other each year. So that's crazy. Like we do have people who live stream for Extra Life. They may choose one of our hospitals that they sound familiar. They may support Children's Miracle Network hospitals as a whole through mission critical funds, which then allows us to create programming that then helps the entire network, kind of raises all the ships. We have a surprisingly high amount of Australian supporters. With some folks, definitely a good chunk of folks in the UK who they just want to have fun. They want to have a way to raise funds, and we make it pretty easy for you just to sign up and start fundraising right away and tell people about it. It's just reminding me of we're talking about indie game devs, and one of the first community articles I wrote for Extra Life was I went and started just hitting up indie game devs for interviews, and it was fantastic, and I've made a lot of good relationships with that. And one of the folks I connected with was Image and Form Games, the guys who did the Steam World games, and we've just became friends. And a couple of years ago, they're like, let's do an Extra Life stream, and I was like, that's fantastic. And their first year, they raised almost $10,000, but they're not even in the US, they're in Sweden. So really, a lot of people got excited by by that engagement. Their community loved it. They definitely got involved. So really, there's not necessarily any sort of borders. It's a good time, and it definitely helps your helps your what you're trying to do, and also connects it to a good cause. I mean, it's an easy win.
So that's from the developer side as well. And I'll say this, if you're a dev and you want to have your game played, hit me up on Discord. If we can help get your game out in front of some other people that are going to be doing this, we'll do it. We'll play, we may be able to play on our stream that day. So let me know. I mean, we'll absolutely help teams get in touch with, streamers and that sort of stuff. Send me a note on Discord and we'll do that. It is just one of those things. So what are the best practices that you see from not only like the developer side, but also if you're live streaming something on your own, how can you go and maximize the effort put forth, to raise money here?
Yeah, I mean, so live streaming first is an amazing way to do it. Like, you don't have to live stream, but at this point in time, meeting in person is not really recommended. So please live stream. But really, it's sitting down and using the tools that we put in front of you. Is making sure that you have donation alerts. So you can set up donation alerts through Streamlabs and Stream Elements. And what that allows folks to do is, like, when they donate, their name's going to pop up on the screen, and then you get to call them out. So that's engagement right there. On your Extra Life participant page, you can set up milestones. So you can say, when we raise $500, we're going to shave our head, or we're going to give away an item, or we're going to do something along those lines on that. So people have a reason to keep watching and a reason to continue to donate. What I've seen a lot of game devs do is set up, like for X donation, you have an opportunity to grab a key for their game. You can set that up, and it's very easy to set that up for folks on the website as well. You can even set up a quantity if you don't want to give away a bunch of games, but you want to have some of them set aside for incentives for folks when they donate. You can set up that that particular number as well. But the biggest thing is planning. Plan that stream. Don't just hit live. I mean, I'm sure that these guys can tell you that any successful stream is planning, right? You should totally have all your questions ready ahead of time.
Did you miss the 10 minutes before we went live on this show?
No. But for a charity stream, you should have some degree of planning. Have things ready ahead of time. If you're gonna do like Bean Boozled, or if you're gonna eat like some sort of nasty cheese, or all those things that you've seen people do for donation, have all that stuff planned out and have that ready ahead of time. That's going to elevate your success. But really, it's recognition of folks who are watching and giving people a reason to watch. And of course, talking about it before you get to that point. Like, you all are already saying, all right, we're doing Extra Life. We're doing it on this day, and you're giving people plenty of time to be like, oh, great, I know that this team is doing something. I can plan for it. I can even save up for it if I'm planning on donating, if I know that y'all are going to have certain things that are going to be fun to donate. I'm wearing a Rooster Teeth hat, and one of the things that they do, of course they're huge, or Rooster Teeth, but they say they do if you do a elite donation, if you do $1,337 donation, then they spin their wheel of misfortune, and whatever it lands on, they do something crazy. So it's very DIY. I mean, you do what you're comfortable doing. You don't have to eat gross stuff or do things to yourself to punish yourself. But you should have those basics set up so you can acknowledge people who are fundraising and donating on a live stream, making them feel like they're making impact. That said, also we provide you with resources that allow you to share videos and and talking points about about what it means to support, how kids do benefit from those donations at a local level. So combining all those engagement points together into a presentation that is compelling for your audience is going to go a really long way.
Can we? This is something that hasn't come up yet. Indy, can we use Streamlabs or anything like that with how we're doing the show now?
What do you mean? We are using Streamlabs for doing the show.
Oh, we are. Well, see, there we go. And
You mean like for playing a game? For playing a game or something? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, to do like alerts and things like that. I didn't
Oh,
know
no, there's not really alerts for Streamlabs or for StreamYard. I mean, I don't know how StreamYard is integrated with that stuff. I know you can play a game and people can watch, but there's no alerts.
Using OBS or something to get through to StreamYard, or if we were just doing not a problem. We're good.
There's a sort, like we have an integration with Stream Elements and Streamlabs too, though. Like, so if you did pull in your your custom URL source for those alerts, you could add those to.
Oh yeah, for sure, or do it on OBS and all that stuff. But we use we use StreamYard for our talks anyways. It's all browser based.
Okay, gotcha.
You should look into integrating with StreamYard because there's a lot of podcasts being done with it now.
That's a good idea.
And I mean, it's super simple to use and it looks really slick.
Yeah, no, it's great. I don't think I've been on a show like this. It's been crazy.
I discovered this through another show, and we've started using it. And oh my God, is it easy? Especially when we have guests. And like last week, when we had 50 some guests in 3 days, it was really, really easy to manage.
Yeah, no, I wish I would have known about this. I did a panel for Gen Con, and it went fine. It was a bit of a mess. This would have been nice to have as a tool. So
it's great. And then you just, like you did, we just give people the link and then you go to it and bam, there you're at.
I love it. It's good stuff. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'm gonna look into that because I think that we have a community of podcasters and content creators who talk about Extra Life, especially as we get closer to game day. And if they're leveraging this kind of technology, it'd be cool for us to begin to take a look at that.
So has the pandemic affected what you all are doing? Are there like more of these things happening now, or is there more competition, or how's it changed in the last 8 months?
Right. Well, that's the biggest question. So most nonprofits, most charities are taking a hit because most of those folks have physical events, and that includes our hospitals. They have the golf gala, right? They have the dinners, and they have the bike-a-thons and the run-a-thons and that sort of thing, and those all are canceled, and that's devastating. Like, our hospitals they're needing funding. The cool thing is Extra Life is already like a virtual endeavor, so it's easily translatable to the point where our annual event, we usually have an event in Orlando, a physical event where hundreds of Extra Lifers come down and they compete in a gaming events in just outside of Walt Disney World in Orlando, and we had to cancel this year because we have to. I mean, you had to be safe. No one was going to take that risk. So what we decided to do in 2 weeks is like, well, let's pivot this to a virtual tournament. And so as hard as that work was, it was actually more successful as a fundraising event than we anticipated the physical event being, because we could get so many more people involved. So we raised almost twice what we usually raise for that event, and it created some energy moving through even to now, where our fundraising is up. Now, our participant numbers are down because we're not at conventions. I don't have volunteers across the U.S., and I'm not at conventions, registering new people to sign up. But but it's given I think it's given people something to do, to be honest. Is like they're looking for some way to feel like they're not helpless. They want to give back, and they want to have, they want to have some power. They want to have some impact, and this is a great way for that to happen. But it has created some competition. But we've had competition for years, and there's definitely a lot of space for that. But yeah, no, we've seen an increase in events. Our hospitals are changing. Like our Phoenix Children's Hospital just did a huge event. They raised over $100,000 with an online tournament. We had Rocket League Boston just do something for Boston Children's, and they raised like $10,000 recently. So these little micro events are popping up because they have to. Like you can't be in physical space, and we don't really know when we can do that safely. And being an organization that helps kids and health, we can't promote anybody going anywhere at this point. So it's going to be a trend, and I think that. What I've noticed, I don't know what you all have noticed, but I really have seen success in a lot of these online events, like our conventions that are pivoting and switching, and developers and organizations that are putting all their content online. It feels almost better in some cases. I miss my friends. I miss seeing my industry friends, but I also feel like I can digest a lot more information now. So I think there's some successes that we've learned from an unfortunate situation.
You could say that we've seen some success. We started doing digital conferences back in early 2019, and so the one last week was actually our 6th one in a year and a half. And so I'm laughing because it's like we spent all last year jumping up and down and yelling, you need to pay attention to digital events, and nobody cared. And now everybody wants to be part of a digital event. So we're like, we kind of got this part figured out now at that point. All right, so we had a question from Discord, and it's our reminder. If you've got questions wherever you're watching, pop them in the chat. Indy and I will see them. We'll get Lou to answer them, live here on the show. But so how does it work? So we've got the official Indie Game Business team now. So if someone joins that team, can they stream on their own? Do they have to stream through our stream? How does that part work?
Yeah, so whenever you join a team, that team is just like an umbrella, right? And so you can have as many people under that team as you want. And the cool thing is each one of those are their own participant pages. They're their own fundraising portals. So you can have one team and they're raising for 50 different hospitals, and as opposed to just that one team raising for one hospital. That happens sometimes, but really what we see most of the time is you sign up for your page, you join that team, but you also select the hospital that you want to raise money for. The website also, if you don't know what it is, if you allow the website to geolocate you, great. If that scares you, you can actually put in your zip code and we can find the closest hospital. Or like I said, you can always just support Children's Miracle Network hospitals as a whole too. All those things are going to benefit the kids.
Awesome. That, I like that because that means I don't have to stay up for 24 hours trying to manage everything. So if any of you are out there who have tried streaming for a very long time, I will admit I was like, how hard could this be? You stream for 9-10 hours. It's like last week when we were, and it's like Indy and I weren't even on the stream the whole time, but we were behind the scenes, and Indy was getting up at like 4 a.m. West Coast time to do this. I was exhausted every night. I was just like, I could not believe how mentally draining, obviously it's not physically draining, but how mentally draining it was to be on, all that time. So it's not easy. And then I definitely have a newfound respect for, those folks who like do a 24-hour mega stream and things like that, because it will wear you out.
Yeah. Well, historically, that's what Extra Life is known for. Like, right, back in 2008, 2009. It was like 24 hours, and now we're like we backed off of that because we don't want people to hurt themselves. So it's like it's DIY. I mean, not to say that people don't still use it as an excuse to stream all day and to fundraise and play games all day, but we recommend bringing friends, taking shifts, resting. If you are doing it for more than 8 or 10 hours, then really be mindful of your body and rest. Drink lots of water. Stay away from junk food and caffeine. We have all the disclaimers there that be mindful of yourself. Take care of yourself, because if you hurt yourself, you're not helping the kids. You want to be mindful of taking care of your mental and physical health.
Indy, you got any advice for people who are trying to do one of these crazy long marathons?
Yeah, the whole thing. I'm a caffeine drinker, right? And don't drink caffeine in the very beginning because you'll be so freaking burnt out. And it's good to get up. Definitely drink lots of water. Have water continually. Like I always have this right next to me, anyways. And I don't stream like that anymore. But it's a lot of work it's a lot of work behind the scenes, but it's a lot of work talking and being on all the time. And it's get up and take lots of breaks. Don't feel bad about taking a 10 or 15-minute break in the middle of your stream. So have something prepared that's not just a waiting screen,
Right.
Take some videos, edit them together, have some stuff for the chat to do, because the way I feel about streaming is like being on the radio, right? If you turn in the radio and then there's 10 seconds of nobody talking, that's dead air, right? And streaming is a lot like that. It's a little bit different, but people will drop in and out of your channel so quick. They'll drop in and then you'll see. I do it too. I'll go check out some streams and someone's just sitting there like this, and okay, next,
Right.
And people just do that. So you have to be on the whole time. Talk. You got to have stuff for people because a break screen, but really you got to pace yourself. Get some good sleep. Not just the night before, but a couple days leading up to it. Because the night before, you're probably not going to get any sleep because you'll be so excited about the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah.
The cool thing is we actually have a bunch of videos. We have some of different lengths. So you can go take a break. So you can go get a cup of coffee, and that'll give you that energy when people hop in.
That's why I was laughing. I finally saw what your shirt says, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's great!
That's amazing."
But like you said, I mean, the resources are there on the site if you need to pull in these commercials and things like that.
Yeah. We make sure that everybody has the things that they need. And if they can't find it, they can hop in our Discord. Like I said, we have an army of passionate volunteers and gamers and extra lifers who are ready to help. So
yeah, make sure to have your mods prepared too. If you're going to do a long stream, get with your mods beforehand, and make sure that your mods that are there anyways, they pretty much know you, but make sure and have some rules of things, and you try and get mods to come in shifts, because the 24-hour stream is man, your feet get swollen. Actually falling asleep during stream works wonders for your viewership. That's funny. And so does stuff like if you're trying to play a game and you sit there for an hour trying to get on the server. I had a stream where we were trying to play this game, and we just sat there for an hour trying to get on the server, and viewership spike, because I think we were talking and stuff and interacting. Then as soon as we started playing the game, it went down. And I'm like, really?
It's like, son of a.
No.
People
fine,
love
this is talk.
That's the So does it matter, as I'm sitting here and I just made the correlation that we have Extra Life, the children's charity, and my background is Doom. Does it matter what you're playing? I mean, should we not stream GTA online, or
I mean, so we're not gonna, we don't monitor that, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day for us, it's that's your channel, that's your content. You know your community. We're gonna trust you to know what you can do. And for us, at the end of the day, if you are doing it for a good cause and you're not being crude or crass in towards the charity or towards the kids, I mean, you do you. And if it's like on our national channel, then no, we're going to keep it teen at most, right? This just because we're a children's charity. But anybody can do pretty much anything that they want. And as I say that again, wearing a Rooster Teeth hat, I've watched their streams like this, like, oh, geez, guys, come on. But it's the same idea. It's like we're not going to. You're doing good for the kids, for the families. You can play Doom all day long. I mean, that's great. Well, does that mean that we're going to promote your stream if we see you and do that? Probably not, but we'll definitely say thank you for playing games for the kids. Thank you.
All right, so
thanks for the rip and tear for the kids.
But all right, so that's something right there. I mean, how do you decide what? I mean, is that something that a team needs to apply for if they want to be featured by the mainstream, or how does that work?
Yeah, so every year we do have. Historically, we've had we'll like feature the stream throughout the day, and we just have we do ask about it if during that segment that you're scheduled that you just play at least the teen game, that's fine. So that is something that we explore and kind of engage with our community as well. Or there's also opportunities like we're talking about the indie game devs playing games. Like we have a community play host team that we just launched. So there's opportunity if an indie game dev was like, hey, can you guys want to play my game during your stream? That's something that we could also consider too. But the game would obviously we'd want that game to be rated no higher than teen or PEGI 16 or whatever that is. I don't know what the UK rating system is, but yeah. So to be part of the community stream at the end of the year, there's a form you fill out and you promise that during your segment you'll not play GTA Online or Red Dead Online or whatever.
And I'm assuming we can't cuss either. That would be bad.
I mean anything more than you would hear on a PG-13. It can't get worse than on the Avengers. Okay, language.
I think you get one F-bomb in a PG-13 rating. We just have to use it when appropriate. But, pretty sure that's the rule on PG-13. So I had another question. Now it has completely escaped me. So where is it streamed? So like right now, thanks to the beauty of StreamYard, we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Where does the official stream sit?
Sure. So I'll say this. So it does. So we are on Twitch. So it is twitch.tv/extralife, the number 4 kids. I'll put that in there so that you don't have to worry about that. So that is where we stream from, but we're kind of more like we kind of like to think of ourselves as like the news center. So like historically we've broadcast. Like I've been on the stream, I've been up with the community for 24 hours, and yeah, I'm with you. It's exhausting, and I do the spiel every hour. We talk about a hospital kid and all that sort of stuff. We don't really play games, but we do cut to our community that is playing games. So primarily that's where we're broadcast for that. But really, it's not about us. It's about our community, fun, doing their thing, and we want to elevate that voice and get as many people as we can. Encourage folks to try to get onto that front page carousel of Twitch to kind of raise awareness for your live stream.
All right, so here's the deep business question. Why not do multiple streams to multiple plays? Is there like a partnership that you all have with Twitch, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean we do have a partner channel with Twitch. And then we kind of have some leeway since we're a charity. I mean, we could probably multi-stream, but I think that to be completely transparent. It's mostly our bandwidth as a small nonprofit team.
You're not smaller than me and Indy.
That's true. Fair.
Yeah, it doesn't really take any extra bandwidth to stream to other places.
Okay. Well, I'll put it on the list of things for the team to consider.
I was just curious.
We don't really have a YouTube presence, and before we could consider going to Mixer, well,
yeah, but you could get on your Facebook and on Twitter even.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll add it. We'll add those to the list.
Go ahead, Lou.
Oh, I'm done.
I completely get it. If you're Twitch partnered and they're promoting you heavily and all that stuff, yes, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah, that's usually the case. We usually end up on the front page, and so kind of balancing that. It's just like, all right, it's easier for us just to stay on one channel. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest reason. I think I don't know if they would slap our wrists because we're Extra Life, but
well. So we, this show never made it to partnered stage at Twitch, but we were or are actually an affiliate. And when we decided to do the podcast, and we quickly saw our podcast numbers eclipsed our Twitch numbers like within a month. It was ridiculous how much exposure. That's when I looked at Indy and I was like, well, why not?
Why are we affiliated? Because we get emotes.
I did.
That's about it.
Somebody had said check your Twitch terms of service, and yes, if you're affiliate or you're partnered, you can't multi-stream. It has to be exclusive to Twitch for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And so last
year,
September,
it's been like a year.
Wow.
Twitch, and I was like, hey, we're going to start multi-streaming. I'm letting you know we are, we can abandon our affiliate status. We're still an affiliate. There's no one has looked at it. No one has changed it. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me, but they can't say, well, you violated this and you started multi-streaming. It's like, no, we told you.
Yeah.
We were going to
yeah. Jay actually said, can you please remove our affiliate status? And they never responded. So
I kind of feel they have other things going on right now.
Yeah, I feel like we're a little bitty fish in the sea of millions and millions.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's why, but Twitch has been a long-standing partner for Extra Life, and so it's like we always wait for them to say, "Oh, you're going to partner again." I was like, "Okay," so then we're mindful of that relationship. Obviously, I think that
you should be. I mean, that's the way you have to handle it. And
oh yeah,
it's just funny to me. It's like, okay, and I know they're looking at us probably for the same reason that Indy told me we needed a Discord server, and I'm like, what do we need a Discord server? We have like 8 people on Twitch, and now we have 1,500 people on the Discord server.
Oh,
so
yeah. Speaking of that, there's a link to the Discord server. Everybody, discord.gg/indiegamebusiness.
So,
I think I'm in there too. I'm in there as I'm Hero by Clicking, I think, in that one. So feel free if you have any questions about Extra Life, just let me know, and I'm happy to help out with that. But I mean, I think we're talking about like charities streaming, and if you're not a partnered channel and you're a new charity and you are broadcasting, then you should be broadcasting to all the different channels. You should be multi-streaming. That's just no question, because if you don't have the reach and the relationships that like a larger organization might have, then yeah, you need to expand your reach so you have a greater impact.
And I just bumped you up to the guest of the show category. So people go to the Discord. You should be right there, front and center on the right side of the screen. So yeah, I mean that's when you're talking about getting a message out to everybody. Then yeah, it's extremely important that you hit as many platforms as possible. Now, if your objective is to get a contract with Twitch or get partner status or whatever YouTube has or whoever else is out there, that's different. But,
I mean, it's not necessary for a charity to have a partnered stream. Like we just been around forever, and I was like, well, we might as well get partnered because they're already a a community partner with us, so it makes sense. But again, yeah, evaluate that. If you're a charity and you're looking to get started, if you don't have a live streaming endeavor for fundraising, there are tools out there that are going to allow you to get started pretty quickly, and you need to do it now. I mean, you're already late to the game if you don't have a program. It doesn't have to be gaming focused either. Like you say, YouTube, there's so many different ways for folks to come in, listen, engage, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a lifestyle thing, whether you're, whether you're cooking, whatever it is, it can always be leveraged. You can always leverage your own community to be fundraising, and as a charity, you need to look at all those different options in terms of who your like constituents are, who you're working with to elevate your cause.
It's part of it. I know the three of us are of this generation, but I don't know how many folks of our listeners. I mean, we grew up watching the Jerry Lewis telethon, every year, where they raised money for muscular dystrophy. And it's funny is the right word. It is funny that we've come back around, and now live entertainment is still one of the biggest ways to raise money for charities, And so do you see anything along the lines of those old telethons with live action stuff, or is it all pretty much just gamers?
Well, it's funny you say that. Is that if you remember the founders of Children's Miracle Network Hospitals one of them is Marie Osmond of Donnie and Marie. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. So CMN's been doing the telethon. They're opposite of Jerry Lewis a lot of times of going and having like the live shows of having Donnie and Marie sing songs and do skits and entertain people and make that ask for the donations. Then they would cut to like the partner hospital in another city, and then they would have that ask, and then they would have their celebrity. And so, yeah, we're seeing that more and more. And actually, whenever I go to design our larger shows, whether it's a live event that's being broadcast, I'm always mindful of that storytelling as well. So, like, it could be, you could be like a charity competition. It could be a cooking competition. Like our friends at Minecraft, they may do some Minecraft. What do they call it? The gaming, the UCG gaming for Minecraft. But they also do a cooking show. They also do ridiculous, kind of like the big Japanese game show stuff that you see before. So there's entertainment beyond gaming. And that's actually, those pieces tend to get more viewership and more engagement because, you get to choose which tool or ingredient that they're going to be using when they're cooking, right? You can shift, you can shift that. Oh, $100 donation is going to change it. They have to just use one hand now to dice the onions. Okay, great. So that kind of engagement is, you're right. It's come back. The live telethon has come back, and it's now live streaming, and people want it, and it's better now because you can be in chat and you can engage. You feel like you're a part of what's going on.
How do you? So I guess it was like a year ago. One of the local charities where we used to live reached out to me because they had seen all of the news. Oh, hush. They had seen all the news about streaming and how people made all this money and for charities by being on Twitch and this sort of stuff. But it's not as easy as you're just like, okay, turn on a camera and there you go. How do you onboard and prepare the actual, new people to this, if they think they're going to suddenly, and this is not just for Extra Life, but for all kinds of charities out there. What are some of the things that they need to get ready and they need to understand before they jump into our world?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. The biggest question and hurdle that people come to Extra Life and they say, well, I don't stream, so I can't help. And I always challenge that, saying it's like, well, actually don't have to stream, because at its core, like, we're just fundraisers, and we're here with the purpose, and the purpose is to raise money for our local children's hospitals. And if you're a charity, then making sure that's always at the center of any sort of messaging, you're going to have the greater success. If you get hung up on, I don't know how to live stream, I don't know how to connect my console to my computer and get that gameplay, and I don't know how to add a video to those things you can learn. Those are really, it's honestly, it is a Google search, but we also provide that information. We have a broadcast 101, kit to kind of get you started if you need help live streaming. And we lean in on our community a lot. And we have people who have never live streamed before, and this is myself included. It's like, I'm not a great live streamer, but when I got started, I had never live streamed until I started doing charity streams. And so Extra Life, actually, I cut my teeth on, I was like, well, what do I need to do? And then, Extra Life had some information, but then I met other people who were doing this more professionally, and I asked them, and then they helped me. And then you just ask questions. And specifically for Extra Life, you ask this community to help you out, to give you input and feedback. They're going to help you like quicker than you could imagine. Like, I've never seen a community step to and make sure that they can help other people raise funds for their hospital through live streaming. So that's my first thing, is like, keep the focus on the why. Right. So one of the things that we ask our community to do is say, it's like, why do you Extra Life? And people don't Extra Life to live stream. People Extra Life because their kid received them. They had a surgery at their local hospital, or their cousin, or their neighbor's kid, or their boss's niece. I mean, or they were a champion at one of our hospitals themselves, and it's that why that will always push you to that next part to figure out, oh, okay, well, StreamYard might be a good tool for us to use for next time, or this camera's better, or look at this cool green screen that I have. I've figured out how to do green screens now. That's the why will drive you to kind of figure out that next part, because it's easy. I mean, I know I say it's easy, but it's hard because it looks like it's a lot. But when you start to break it down in smaller bits, it's very manageable.
And so John from LinkedIn, to answer your question, John asked, do artists or other kind of streamers host streams for Extra Life? That answer is yes, absolutely. You don't have to play a game.
Yeah, one of my favorite, one of the friends I made, and one of my favorite streams to watch. I love watching people paint miniatures, like D&D and tabletop miniatures, that sort of thing. I can watch that all day. Or cosplay artists, but also traditional artists, anywhere from people doing sculptures to people just doing sketches and drawings. Sometimes taking commissions for donations is also something that I've seen happen. Really, it's the bandwidth, and it's DIY. It's like, it doesn't have to be gaming. It definitely art, music. I had a community member who used to drum for Extra Life, so he used to do requests, and he would drum out to like a video game music. It was cool. So really, there's no limit. It's just we started out with gaming, and then we know that people have other passions, and it's an easy way. It's an easy gateway to get people to be more creative and pull out those other talents to leverage and raise money for their hospitals.
I love miniatures, but I also know that I don't have the attention span to sit there, and nor the manual dexterity to really get in there and do that well. All of mine would end up something looking like the Joker out of the new movie. It was just, yeah. You don't want to share those off and go, oh, that's awesome. Did you and your 8-year-old do that?
You're like,
no, I did that. That's fine. His looks way better than mine does. All right, so we're coming up on end of the show. If you've got any other questions for Lou about Extra Life, what you can do to get involved, what you can do to get your own team started, all of that sort of stuff, pop them in there now, and we'll get to them. Indy's running banners here at the bottom for our Discord, and then our team as well. Team name is Indie Game Business. Oddly enough, it's amazing that was available. And so, yeah, we'll be doing it at the same time. We're also, we're in equal opportunity. Indy's got his 12 days of Indy coming up, so we'll be working and doing something there as well. Any final thoughts, Lou? I mean,
I probably a ton of final thoughts, to be honest. So first of all, I want to thank you both. It's funny, I didn't realize that, Dan, that you were indie, so I just try not to fanning over it, but I've been following you for years.
Oh, nice. Awesome. You didn't realize that was me?
No, until you popped on, I'm like, oh crap, that's indie.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
And I've always tried to meet you in events, and you always have a bunch of people around you, and I'm like, man, I'll try it another time. So
dude, yeah, come up and say hi to me whenever we are at events. Yeah,
I can't wait. No, so I appreciate that.
I love meeting and hanging out with people. We could go out and have a couple drinks, or
I love
not have drinks, eat some food. I'm good at eating. That's one of my best things. I want to say something about this. Extra Life, it used to just be like you were saying, a 24-hour thing. You can do Extra Life all year round if you wanted to. Yeah. It's just you can just do it continually. You could always do it. You can set up events anytime you want to do an Extra Life event. It doesn't have to be in November. It can just be whenever. It could maybe some advice is to do an Extra Life event when nobody else is doing it. So that way the attention's on you.
Like, where's the downtime? I mean, when do you have less streams and less events like this going on? If somebody wanted to, hit the blue ocean versus the red ocean.
Sure. No, that's great, and thank you for bringing that up. So usually it's at the beginning of the year. It's things kind of dip in January, February. We see a little bit of a rush for our annual events in March, in the spring. But then it'll dip again until the summer. Right now, we're in the middle of our Tabletop Appreciation Month. So our tabletop community and people who were like, oh, I didn't know you could play tabletop games for Extra Life, they're getting involved. So it'll peak here, and then we'll kind of coast into game day from here. So I would say that that late winter and spring is a good time to kind of shift gears. But also the different ideas to kind of elevate yourself out of it. One of the things you do the artist streams and music streams, do something different as well. That's good. Just streaming content advice anyways, just do what you love. But if it's something different, then all the better. And one of the things that I always say is it's great that a lot of our fundraising happens within those 6 weeks surrounding that fall date. But our hospitals need help all year long. And so whenever you raise in January, they get that money sooner and they can apply it to what they need to sooner. And so while we definitely appreciate that the money being raised towards the end of the year, you can do it anytime. You can do anything you want. I was crazy years ago, and I came up with this idea of 100 days of gaming. Really, it was to get through my Steam catalog. But who am I kidding? I have more than 100 games in my Steam catalog. But it was an excuse for me to sit down and play a game for a couple of hours each day and talk about Extra Life. Those are the kinds of things you can do. You can spread it out. You can do different things. But yeah, mostly, if you're connected, if you find a connection to this cause, then you explore those things that make you excited, and people are going to notice, and they're gonna want to help.
It's awesome, man. Well, Luke, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today.
Oh, I appreciate
it. This will be online. Indy's had the team stream up. Just go if you want to join our team or you want to make your own team. Go to was it Extra Life?
Extra-life.org.
Extra-life.org.
Something in there I was missing.
Somebody took extralife.org, and they've been sitting on that domain for years. So
you're a charity for kids.
I know.
I looked into giving that up. You need to give us that URL. Kids are dying because of you.
I mean, that could be a huge tax break for that person, right?
Right.
I'm donating this. It's worth $50,000 or whatever. I mean, I don't know what the URL would be, but
I'm sure one of those can tell us what it's worth. That's what they do. So yeah. All right. We will we've hit the end of the year. We got kids going back to school, and because of all the craziness and pandemic, we're rolling the show back to 1 day a week. So we're going to be here next Friday with somebody. I don't know who.
Some
Hold on.
person. They're going to talk about some interesting stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, Brendan, yeah, he's like a professional. He's to be welcome on this show. He's a professional speaking expert, So we're going to have that going on. So we'll have him here next Friday. We got several shows laid out for the rest of the year, and all the content from last week is still available too. So you're not going to run out of any kind of indie game business stuff to watch. So, all righty. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks, Lou.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dan.